And when I tell you the throat was just open for no reason, I was saying no sign, even know was in there. Hi, it's Amara, your favorite Thespian Therapist. Mental health counselor by day, Thespian by night, but sometimes I switch it and I do the therapist thing at night and performing thing in the daytime. And I am back for you today with episode 2 or step 2 or whatever kind of 2 you would like to believe for yourself of how I feel like I with theater. So I developed some really incredible relationships in grad school. Several of which happened in my journey towards learning and practicing psychodrama, which I mentioned in episode 1. If you haven't seen episode 1 yet, please go back so you have an idea of how important, that's actually a very important part of my step in falling back in love with theater. One of those relationships is an ex-girlfriend of mine who is an incredible poet, playwright, drama therapist. She's actually making her off-Broadway debut this year, and I'm very, very excited and proud for her. So don't even worry. We're still very close and better as friends. But she actually, ironically, is the person who played the role of theater and Broadway specifically in my psychodrama that I mentioned in the last episode, where I discovered that needing to be on Broadway was stealing my spark. And I remember just kind of being intrigued by and almost jealous of her. Like, she would unabashedly share on her social media about musicals she was obsessed with, go on rants about stars who weren't given enough credit, and send me like memes and RIP TikTok, or is it back? I don't know. Nobody knows. But hot takes on like various parts of theater and what Defying Gravity would sound like as an emo moment, which is incredible. But when people asked me about the new person in my life, one of the first things that always came out of my mouth was that I loved how much she loved theater and how it reminded me that I also love theater. I do this thing when I'm walking in New York where I don't want to look like a tourist. So I will avoid asking for directions and hard body go the wrong way for like a block and a half so I at least look like I know where I'm going. And it's embarrassing to admit, but for real, a lot of that had also leaked into my relationship with theater. I wanted to be cool and nonchalant about being close-ish to the inner circle of Broadway. And in trying to not be like designated as a fan, I stopped going to theater. I stopped listening to new shows. I stopped following new artists. I went to the theater to see my friends in shows, do research for a show I was being considered for, or because my sister wanted to see it and I just wanted to flex. Theater had become work. I was no longer enjoying it because I like it. I was researching and networking. The girl that built a warm-up routine for her drama ensemble to the soundtracks of Legally Blonde and Bat Boy, who is now besties with Larry O'Keefe. Don't you even worry, I'm on the new deluxe album of Heathers, which is really cool, but I'll get there. She was gone. The girl that borrowed Emily Cook's laptop to burn CDs of Brooklyn and Little Women, gone, nowhere to be seen. I was so busy trying to seem like I was a cool kid and not be too embarrassing that I forgot that I also genuinely enjoy theater. I enjoy performing. So being able to nerd out about Wicked and Rent with Megan reminded me that I absolutely love musical theater. Specifically, I love the art form. I love visual storytelling. I love how in the finale of In the Heights, I can literally feel the sensation of warmth and comfort when Usnavi says, I'm home. I'm obsessed with how all the motifs from the first act come together in the finale of Urinetown because all the stories and complicated nuances are coming together. So often, as a neurosparkly person, hashtag ADHD gang, words fail to express how I'm feeling, but music, movement, impressions, they can. And so using the power of art to help shape people's perspectives and tell stories that might otherwise be inaccessible was groundbreaking for me. And so in starting to re-embrace theater, I started to re-embrace me, to become a fan of me. And I started letting myself engage with the parts of my voice and my inner life that previously I hadn't because I wasn't the right type or not castable in those roles. I stopped trying to be who I thought Broadway wanted me to be and instead just allowed myself to share the song in my heart. And when I tell you the throat was just open for no reason, I was saying no sign, even know was in there. Like, turns out believing in yourself isn't just a pretty thing that Glenda says at the end of The Wiz. Allowing yourself to love what you love is so powerful. But allowing yourself to love yourself without anybody else's input, that's when the magic starts.